be streaming my screen here in just a second. It's going to get a bit bumpy in the next 15, 16 minutes. We're getting our first market open since all the news has dropped over the weekend. So naturally, pre-market didn't respond well to this, but now we really want to see how regular trade hours operate. But yeah, guys, I thought it was a better idea to postpone the workshop and to instead discuss exactly what went on last night and anything of the sort. So if you guys got questions, this will be the stream to ask them. We'll do our best to answer them fully. But yeah, not a good day for the leverage bros. I'm gonna pull up some data here so we just have an understanding of what an impact the last 24 hours have had on our markets. And again, 2.3 billion almost now. This is nuts. Market died. I don't know about that. I think a lot of people underestimate the volatility of crypto. I want to say yesterday was more realistic to what we used to expect on a day-to-day basis than ever before. $2 billion was only Bybit. Bybit CEO said 10 billion. Well, that's interesting considering I have exchange liquidations of multiple exchanges here. Let's pull up the 24-hour and just get an understanding of what's happening here. That appears to be inaccurate. My estimation it should be at least around 8 to 10 bill. FYI, Bybit 24-hour liquidation alone was 2.1 bills. You could see in the below screenshot. Yeah, but Ben. I guess I could take a look at something here, actually. So this is probably just USDT alone then. If it's how the API pulls data, it has limitations. Interesting. Let's pull up a good old trusty Ben over here. We love Ben. Ben's a good guy. We have API limitation on how much feeds are pushed out per second. From my observation, other exchanges also practice the same limit liquidation data. Moving forward, Bybit will start to push all liquidation data the same way we push out all other data. We believe in transparency. You believe in transparency now and not during the massive liquidation that we just saw. Interesting. Seems like a PR stunt to say we at Bybit, love our degenerate gamblers, and for that reason, we will now provide full transparency. I find that very interesting statement from Ben. Why not do it before, and why decide now to do it? So if we're actually dealing with $8 to $10 billion, it makes a lot more sense given how fast we declined yesterday. And I know it's, you look at the rest of the market and you kind of freak out. You look at this and you go, oh, we're just ranging, right? So I'm a bit numb, I think, to the actual move that happened here. Now, don't get me wrong, I have spot bags as well. They're hurting pretty damn bad. But as far as like BTC goes, it's structurally in a position that I would deem it to be quite, normal. Everything else, though, it's pretty brutal. I can't lie. Some major touches on some major levels. Hell, even has fallen through. This would make more sense, actually, that there's been a lot more liquidations than 2 bill. Oh, that is fucking brutal. What are we thinking at New York Open? We're going to have to wait and see. Again, a lot of implications over the weekend. A lot of fighting back and forth between 3 countries in North America. Well, actually, do you consider Mexico part of North America? Do we consider that part of North America? Not really, no, right? That's no, yeah, it is. It is North American. No. It's definitely not South America, though. Like, we know that much. Yeah, it's considered a North American. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's what I thought. So a lot of tension between North American, what you call quote unquote allies, pretty much just slapping tariffs on each other, which limits business, economies. And of course, political tensions, any sort of alliance between the three countries, pretty much this stick swinging. You have Trump saying 25% tariffs on both north and south of the border, and then Canada and Mexico clapping back with their own. So this is an escalation for sure. It's an escalation. Markets don't like that. They hate it. Markets like to have clear waters, no potential tensions that could change on a dime. And these are sort of the last things you want to see, right? Because it hurts the economy directly and affects it directly. So again, a lot of panic. But what suffers the most during these times are speculative markets, right? Speculative markets are where people are willing to overshoot their expectations or at the very least undershoot them. So in the sense of what I'm talking about, these are the first things to fall off a cliff. And as we know by now, crypto likes to price in things a lot quicker than TradFi does, for the simple fact that it operates on the weekend. It's 24/7 market, and trade participants are from all around the world, right? So people's understandings of events and how they unfold could happen at any given moment, at any given time. So naturally, we suffered quite a large drop. I'm not going to be the one to tell you it wasn't. In my opinion, it's the largest liquidation we've ever seen. And that says a lot. Now, does it mean it's worse than COVID? Does it mean it's worse than May 2021? In terms of single day drawdown, absolutely not. I like to think that BTC has done rather well here, but this can all get very, very ugly with a loss of the range. And again, we are in a situation, right, where further escalation, further panic, can run even more, right? So, do I think the worst is over? I think time will tell. After such a large, triggering of forced orders, it's almost impossible to tell at this current stage. You did get your relief bounce. Like, I'm not going to be the one to tell you that didn't happen, but a lot of metrics have changed here. So we're going to talk about them. But yeah, just to keep you guys up to speed, like nothing that wasn't on a headline appeared overnight. Pretty much economic trade wars have begun between three nations that are otherwise considered friendly to one another. Asia session saw that. They didn't like that one bit. And again, the first thing to really suffer from things like this is speculative markets. There's no doubt about it. First and foremost, because the markets are free. There are no circuit breakers. There is no standard operating procedure to put measures in place to protect the investor, which is why you just continuously see downpours that seem to never stop. Whereas if you were to, for example, if we were to go into a market open today and we get like a 3% drawdown upon the open, that's going to be triggering a circuit breaker, and trading is halted for 15 minutes. Hedge funds, everything, have a chance to reorganize their books, their positions, their margins. It kind of safeguards a market from free falling like we see in crypto, right? So there's a drastic distinction between TradFi and crypto. Crypto, there is nothing to save you. If a margin call is coming, you have no time to reallocate. You have no time in a true moment of of downpouring to protect yourself, and that's usually what happens here. Now a lot of traders got liquidated over the past 24 hours. If this data is not correct, then I want to say this number is even bigger. But just to give you the implications here, 742,000 traders liquidated. Now this could be isolated. It could be cross. It doesn't mean 742,000 people lost all their money. It means 742,000 separate accounts with a position, whether isolated or cross, did in fact get liquidated, with the largest one being as the largest single liquidation being 38.78 mil. That's a lot of money, guys. That's a lot of money to lose on one single night. Do I think it's somewhat of an overreaction? It's hard to say that because again, this is crypto being crypto. I mean, if you've been here before, if you've ever been a part of our markets in the 2020 cycle, these things happen every second week, maybe every third week. Now I know a lot of people will say, well, markets ran 40, 50, 60% before they did this. That may be true, but again, single day drawdowns, this is pretty typical. I'm not going to be the one to tell you I'm in my eyes lit up here. I mean, it got interesting for sure. When you start to see the 20-30% drawdowns in a single 2 hour span, that's when it gets interesting. But with that comes, you know, equal opportunities, especially for the scalpers. Again, if we take a look at some trades here, they're already almost fully reversed. So again, like, you're gonna have a lot of bottom catches here or knife catches here. They'll get away with a pretty nice trade. They'll probably overstay their welcome, and it's this next real test here that tells you if a bottom's in or not. Right. So we're in the process of figuring that out now. We are 6 minutes till New York Open, so that's gonna be a very, very interesting one. But is it an overreaction? I think it's a crypto reaction, right? People start to panic. Panic starts triggering stops. Stops start triggering liquidations. Liquidations start to trigger other liquidations, and so on and so forth. And there's nothing to stop that, right? That is the essence of the free market. Is that if you're positioned in a terrible spot, don't ever think you're not touchable. I've seen it time and time again. And again, this only occurs after, you know, 20-30% drops in a single drawdown. And again, you know, maybe there are some of you in here from May 2021 when we sat on stream, and you think this is bad. But when we saw 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% down across the board in a single afternoon, that's probably when it gets a bit spicy. That's when you get a bit. That means nobody is safe on the leverage side of things. So again, you know, pretty mild. I can't be the one to tell you that this is doomsday. Maybe for the new crypto class, this may have been, you know, your first taste of what we went through 4 years ago. But they also provide you with the most lucrative, you know, I want to say interim place. Whereas as long as you weren't caught, at least on your leveraged account, on any of these plays, you're in a position to really capitalize on that. Are we still in phase one? What do you think? What do you think? You know, just I'm being it's an honest question. What do you think? Like, I have BTC barely 20% down from its highs. I have everything else completely round tripped or more from the original markup from 70K. Phase zero is a bit cynic. It's a bit cynic. You have BTC at 95K almost here. I don't think it's as bad as you're making it sound. But yeah, it's definitely still phase one. Yeah, phase two is starting on Friday. Unless I tell you, I think you know, I'll be the first one to tell you when we're in phase two, but you know, just respect the name. Just respect the username. All due respect to Becker, I think he just engagement posts. I don't think he actually means what he's saying. And you gotta be careful with the tweeters, guys. You gotta be careful with these guys. It's not the space it used to be where you actually had accounts that traded for a living. You have accounts that shill for a living now, and you gotta be very, very careful about the words being tweeted and the magnitude or at least the significance they have. Yeah, Sailor didn't even buy this weekend. This guy avoids any discount whatsoever. If he's not buying the local highs, he doesn't want to know nothing. Sailor is hilarious because he finally gets a discount. You would expect him to want to buy more. No, Sailor only buys 110K or more. In many ways, he's one of us. You mentioned phase. Oh my God, I'm getting spammed with the chat over here. You mentioned phase one lasts the longest. It does. It absolutely does. So again, we take a look at Bitcoin dominance here. I think it's pretty much made a statement. It's lost a lot of this, and that's normal. And I'll explain why you see a wick like this. Right? I'll be able to explain that in just a second, but I'll just take a look at some questions here. Boss bought XRP at 337. I don't think he's coming in today. I mean, a lot of the market capitulation came from these sort of pairings. That would be XRP and Solana, believe it or not. I think they suffered quite a heavy downpour. And of course, Ethereum, right? Ethereum got fucking hit like in ways I've never seen. Like that, this felt more like a COVID crash for Ethereum. Like I'm saying this reminds you exactly of the same structure Can I go back and reference COVID 2020 just so you guys can get an understanding? And man, my charts are moving slow. All right, we got one more minute till New York Open, so hopefully I could just fucking show you guys really quickly. Man, we already have to scroll back so much to see what I'm about to reference here. I mean, it kind of looks like this, like in many ways. If I go look, I mean, that looks as simple as realistic as it ever would get. So we're just gonna watch New York Open here before we, go back to referencing the past year. But yeah, we need to see how regular markets react to this. I imagine it's not going to be good, but at the same time, I didn't see that much of an overreaction yesterday on the pre-market side of things. I really didn't. I thought it was. There you go. 1.6 down. 1.6 down. At least there's no circuit breaker. I'll tell you that much. And there we go. So the market naturally reacts very poorly to the over the weekend headlines that we saw. To be honest, I thought I'd see a lot worse than this. Let's be honest here. Just taking a look here. Hold on, I'm missing some. Whoops, I didn't scroll down my chat here. Pre-market in deep red. I mean, I've seen worse. Were any of you guys around for the COVID days and how TradFi looked during the COVID days? It was maybe 3% down every hour or so. They had to stop trading for about like 15 minutes every hour. This is like pretty mild. If I'm being honest with you, I think starting to look more and more like an overreaction on crypto side. I mean, we gapped down for sure, but it's nothing. It's nothing that would scare me. Let me take a look at the Nasdaq. Right, that's probably going to get hurt the most. Not even doesn't even give a fuck. Yeah, you see, like, look, already you're starting to see people react saying, "Well, that's not that bad," like, look what's happening to Bitcoin now. Everybody's going, "Okay, well, that wasn't bad at all," like. Again, I really do think this was a bit of an exaggeration, but mostly because of forced liquidations. Forced liquidations will drive price down way worse than you would ever expect, right? But so far, first 5 minutes of trading, I thought I'd see worse, like way worse. Nasdaq. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones. Again, it could be so much worse. This could be so much worse, but it's not. ETH went down 37% in the past 4 days. I'd say that was pretty brutal considering second highest market cap coin. It's yeah, you see, like this isn't as bad as anyone would think. I mean, BTC only is 2% down now. This is hilarious. Look, 37% down in the past 4 days. It's to your interpretation. Is it bad? Sure, it's bad. But is it something we've never seen before? The answer is no. We used to see this all the time. Like actually all the time. So again, like bad, sure. I guess the way you're positioned. Unusual, I would say no. I would say it's pretty typical of crypto to act like this. This felt more like a crypto market than it's ever been in the past 6 months. But yeah, we're only 3 minutes into the open, guys, but so far the response here is, "Oh, that's not that bad." And I'm saying the same thing. Like I thought this would be way worse. This is not bad at all. If there was true panic in the market, we would have gapped down. We would have probably hit a circuit breaker. Just pretty typical. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, bad response for sure, but not as bad as you would have anticipated. I don't know if you mentioned because I lost the first minutes, but what do you think was the catalyst of this? Can't be the tariff stuff. It absolutely was the tariff stuff. People don't like uncertainties. It's the tariffs that lead to liquidations that lead to liquidations that lead to forced sells that lead to price going to where it goes. But off that open, look how slow my trading view is. Holy moly. I mean, look at this. Other than that, if we really look at Bitcoin on a daily here, it's just a range play so far. You just tapped into the bottom of the range and you're on your way back up. It's It's not that bad. Like it's really not that bad. We're almost green on the day, is what I'm trying to say. What is the estimated recovery from the tariff? Just play the range, bro. Just play the range. Yeah, you're asking me like okay, so what next on my crystal ball? The truth is, man, I'm a trader. I don't have these sort of predictions. I just I look at it for what it is. And again, if you're liquidated, you're probably panicking. If you're just playing the range, you had your precautions on Friday. You know, if you were part of me on Friday's stream, we kind of said, nah, I don't like the 106 level not responding the way it is. We got back to a retest area we were probably interested in. I said, nah, something feels off. And then, you know, we also said, we're in the middle of the range. It doesn't feel right. And we got our range low tap. We're not in the bottom of the range anymore. I would say we're more towards the upper end of the middle, the bottom end of the middle of the range now. Like what's done is done, guys. Like I had these levels here for weeks now. It's just I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, that's it. I mean, we're patient. And that's it. You got the bottom of the range. You got a bottom tick. I mean, I wanted more 87. I had more fills towards 90, 87. But hey, you know, like it is what it is. Rates raised last month on what? Vivi, we've been talking about like just go read my corner. Like go read my corner. I mean, I don't post trades. I just tell you this is the place where we want to pay attention. I'm never the type to post trades in here, but I will tell you where I'm looking, why I'm looking there, and how to react, right? Cal just went from 303 to 321 in 4 minutes. Yeah, again, it's the market open on New York wasn't as bad as people thought, but again, you're in your first 6 minutes of trading here. A lot of people are emotional right now. A lot of people probably lost a lot of money over the past 24 hours, so they're revenging it, right? A lot of revenge trading going on right now. So you just want to chill for a bit here. I took a look at the currencies. For example, I think Canadian USD is just getting ass blasted. Let me take a look. Or is it USD to CAD? Am I crazy? What's the actual ticker for this again? I can't remember. I'm no Forex guy. Yeah, USD and CAD are not having a good time. I can't even add this shit, bro. Like it's so slow. Okay. Oh yeah, I have to go here, right? USD. That's why it wasn't showing. Yo, look how poor I'm becoming in comparison to the US dollar. This is crazy. In crypto, nothing is off the board. ETH going from 33.33 to 2001 weekend only is fucking insane. It's man. I'll say it again. It's typical. It's typical crypto, man. Like you have no idea how I looked at yesterday. I was like, oh, this is kind of normal. Like this is what I remember. And yeah, gold at new highs here. So again, like this is like your doomsday indicator. People are obviously very nervous about what might happen to currencies. I mean, if you're a Canadian citizen right now, you're taking a look at your purchasing power and you're starting to freak out, right? Thankfully, gold, Bitcoin, I consider them in the same echelon at this point. The 2018 bear market was terrible because most people didn't have any shorting options, right? You didn't have any hedge options. You just had spot markets. So if something went down, it just went down. Not a good sign. People are looking for real assets, but the hunt for real assets, that's always going to be a priority for people with too much money. It's just a normal reaction. BDC is in the same boat. That's why it's performed the way it has since its inception. Is that every passing day more people realize this is a real asset, or at least it's being taken seriously as one? I mean, they look awfully similar, don't they? Pretty similar, if you ask me. I don't know. Well, that's a nice Dalai Lama so far, but the real test, I would say, man, my charts are so slow. This is nuts. Look, nothing loads. Have you guys seen this? Is it possible to not have alt season at all? It didn't even start yet. That's the thing. It hasn't even started yet. Your alt season starts when BDC is way higher than this. Like way higher than this. The thing is, though, you've had BDC in new highs. You have a confirmed bull market, right? It is still phase one. Still phase one. How do I know that? BDC sits above its 2021 highs. Everything else is officially back below its 2021 highs. Some of them have completely round tripped the entire move up with BDC. And again, there is no market cycle that changes where this is the time alts outperform BDC before it outperforms itself. It's just the nature of the market, guys. Exactly. BTC has to get exhausted. And right now it's ranging. It just amassed all its market cap that it lost over the past 3 to 4 weeks, I would say. And now it's in a position where if it wants to start trucking again, it will. And it's still within its daily range. It hasn't lost any significant level. It's just doing what you see over here. It's done this as well. It made new highs. Made these new highs right here. Shuffled around. Made people panic. Now, the higher and higher we go in a parabola, the shorter and shorter the ranges become. So I would expect this to be over rather soon. And we will break out again. Genuine question, does the alt market just feel too oversaturated for a real alt cycle to happen? How many altcoins existed last cycle versus now? That's a good question. In 2018, there was about 2,000 cryptos. In 2021, I want to say there was about 10 times more than that. Maybe 100 times more than that. And now there's how many now? Like 3 million? 10.62 million cryptos that exist. That's wow. It's definitely oversaturated. I definitely agree with that. But it doesn't mean that things won't have its cycle. Like it can be as oversaturated as it wants. I mean, just take a look at the top 10 market caps, right? This amounts for a large chunk, a large majority of the entire industry, right? Yeah, it can have as many coins as it wants. Doesn't mean it's stealing any market share. The real market share is in these top 10, maybe the top 20. You know, there's quite a bit of money in here that accounts for, I want to say, a large chunk of this entire market cap. Just ETH and BTC. Like, look, guys, just BTC alone takes up almost 62% of the entire industry's market cap. It's one pairing out of how many? 10.6 million. Exactly. 99.9% are of 33 million coins are at zero anyways, or at the very least will go to zero. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's pump fund that oversaturated the market. Pump fund just provides what people want, and what people want are get rich quick schemes. You can't just point the finger at Pump Fund and be like, this is the reason why. It's you guys asked for this. You guys asked for this. Solana is very, very interesting level to me. All the structure just suggests that you either get this, which wouldn't make sense, or you get this further ranging like this. Most of the liquidation was in alts, as I've seen earlier today. I like this kind of situation right after people claiming to be rich is buying Trump coin. Could this flush lead to a better market condition? All good market conditions usually lead after large flushes. So a lot of borrowed capital gets kicked out of the market, and the only ones that do stay are the true spot demand, true buyers, right? It's not a leverage market that drives price up, but it is a leverage market that drives price down. So that's quite a de-risking from USDT. When I say de-risking, it's pretty much almost completely eviscerated. So that's interesting. That's like a blow off. My charts are moving so slow. I can't click through things as fast as I would want them. And you know, some of these things are having really strong buybacks. I can't lie to you. I want to say the worst is done. I think you got the real flush. I think you got the true flush. Even people from before the election got even hit just as hard. I want to say this was the final shakeout. HBJ slapping the CZ bangers. I mean, Binance is no fucking innocent. They're not innocent whatsoever. But I do want to say like this had to be, and I mean this sincerely. Like I'm not look how slow, bro. I'm not here to tell you that the second phase has begun, but this is like quite the buyback. This is quite the buy. I want to say they fucking kicked out whoever needed to be kicked out. I think I'll tell you the worst is over now. Like the worst is over. Yeah, you might bleed back into these levels. You might bleed back into these levels, but to make lower lows after this, I strongly doubt that. I have a strong doubt on that. So if you're still around, you're still stuck around, I think you're good. Nah, man, it's just look how much these tickers are moving, bro. We may have to do a speed test. This is no way the Canadians are already capping my fucking internet speed. Yeah, look, guys, I'll be honest with you. I'll sit you guys down. I'm the first one to tell you, your cautions need to be taken seriously. I like to think that has finally paid off. I've always been the one to, tell you don't overstay your positions on leverage, especially when you're playing the alt plays. They have a tendency to round trip at this phase in the cycle. But it's not about I told you so. It comes from genuine concern. It comes from genuine experience, right? I told you if you had spot positions, you're probably going to have to weather some shit you don't like. It comes with the game. It comes with the game. If you have a long-term conviction on something, you can't be looking at price every day, and you can't be forced to make a decision the second it goes against you. Because that's not how you properly exit a market, right? Like if you're always looking at when the bad times are there, and you always feel compelled to make a decision on the bad times, it's counterproductive is what I'm trying to say. If you have a long-term allocation, anything that happens in between, shouldn't affect the long-term allocations. If you have if you have a leverage play on all coins, those warnings have been warranted. Like not warranted. I don't think that's the right word. Those warnings have been, foreheated. Is foreheated even a word? Those warnings have been well announced, well in advance to tell you guys, like when you're given 5 to 10% on an all play, you need to You need to tell yourself, I can walk away here. Like you can't allow yourself to get round tripped. You can't allow yourself to get stubborn with stop losses. No, I still have my INJ. Again, it's a long term thing. So whatever's happening here, yeah. Do I regret it? Do I regret the timing? For sure, for sure. I mistimed a lot of things too, but not gonna see me take a fucking 5x, 4x borrowed position on INJ. It's just I have an amount. I allocate it to it. This should perform way better by the end of this entire cycle, and that's how I see it, right? But to say I didn't mistime it, I'd be a fool to tell you that, I'm perfect. I could have timed that so much better. I could have allocated a lot better as well. Do I think AI coins will recover with this DeepSeek China AI effect? If you want me to be completely honest with you, I don't think AI coins and AI, the actual AI, have any correlation with each other whatsoever. Does that make sense? Or am I being like, how does one benefit the other? But it's not to say that if something good happens for real AI in the real world, that it doesn't mean a narrative can't spark for AI coins. It's just when you ask me about like what the actual correlation between the two is, like if there's a direct impact on one another, like through like a technicality or a mechanical then I'd love to know. But until then, I just assume that one narrative plays off the other. That's what I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I have yet to, like, I don't know, right? But it reminds me of the gaming in 2021. It was like, oh, this gaming coin is going to connect us to the real world, and it's like, yeah, I know, but it has nothing to do with the game. I wouldn't say, look, I wouldn't say they're a straight gamble, guys. What I'm trying to say is this: a market just needs a narrative, and if AI is going to provide that narrative, then I'm not going to be the one to get in the way. It was the same thing with the gaming narrative, right? There was a ton of opportunities in the gaming niche, or the gaming niche, I should say, and a lot of them performed very well. But if you're asking me about like what DeepSeek and AI and China, yada yada yada, have a direct effect on crypto AI, I don't think there's an actual bond between the two. I just think one piggybacks off the success and hardship of a particular sector. I think it's more about a lot of the AI coins that exist now focus on compute infrastructure, and with DeepSeek, it shows that we may not need this huge amount of compute if we can optimize models. Didn't I read something about DeepSeek saying they were completely lying about the energy it requires? I remember reading something about this. Okay, a lot of news coming in. Trump will speak to Trudeau again at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I have this weird feeling, and we're just speculating here, right? I have this weird feeling that when they have this phone call, Trudeau's gonna be like, "Oh, you meant that? Oh, I didn't know you meant that. Okay, for sure, we could definitely do that. There's no reason to have these tariffs." Like, I feel like it's gonna be like that. Like, I have a really strong feeling that the trade war comes to an end today. Just like Colombia, it was like, oh, you meant my criminals. Oh, my bad. Yeah, for sure. Do you want my plane? You want my plane? I could do that. Like I feel like it's gonna be like that. It's like, oh, I didn't know what you actually meant there. Oh, you meant this one. Okay. I really, really think Canada is overplaying their hand here. Like, do you guys want me to talk about the tariff situation and what I think is going on here? Because I could talk about that. While we're watching markets do its thing there, it's kind of in the air. Okay, so I'll discuss the tariff things. Let me just double check the questions here before we continue. Yeah, Trudeau trying to save face on the world. I'll tell you, it's a game of power in politics, right? So again, one leader doesn't want to look weaker than the other, and et cetera, et cetera. But what they misunderstand is the true influence and power a certain country has over the other. I think they are getting investigated because they might have not disclosed how many GPUs they bought. Yeah, you see, that's what I'm talking about. It's like DeepSeek, like, and this is all due respect. I'm not speaking about like a particular race of people, but specifically the Chinese government. They love to go, oh, look at what we have, but then they fail to disclose the true facts about the situation, and then we find out and we go, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You're lying about half of it. You know, so a lot of this AI stuff, we need to like tread lightly. I think there's a lot of things that are just not being told. Like for all you know, the U.S. goes, we have this exact thing that you're talking about. We just haven't released it to the public. There's so many things when it comes to AI. AI is the new nuclear war race. It's the new nuclear warhead race. That's what it is to me. It's everybody scrambling to be the leader in AI innovation, the same way everybody was scrambling to be the first country to have nukes. It's the same vibes. It feels like a Cold War. Yeah. It's the Cold War of AI. That's what it feels like. It's like, oh, we got the best AI computer, and it's like, oh no, we have the best computing model. It's like, oh, we have the faster missile. Our missile takes half the time to build. It's the same feeling. It's the Russia USA equivalent of the nuclear war, the nuclear Cold War, or the race to nuclear arms. So I'll talk about tariffs. This chat's moving fast, so if I miss your question, don't be shy to ask it again. Things are moving fast. Trudeau is an idiot, and he was a drama teacher before PN, so this is to be expected. Trudeau and Orange Man hate each other, won't be that cordial, won't end today. Wasn't Trudeau supposed to be out, by the way? He looked ridiculous yesterday with all his motivational speech. Again, okay, so this is the world of power and politics, right? So these trade wars, they're coming off of one major principle, one major fact. So to my understanding and to the rest of the world's understanding, the USA subsidizes Canada either in the form of military aid, funding, and etc. And for that reason, they start to ask questions, right? So for the past 4 years, you've had an administration that neither cared nor wished to do anything about it, and in fact, was more like a piggy bank to the rest of the world. Pretty much fund here, fund there, fund this, fund that, pretty much being taken advantage of in every sense that you can imagine, right? Just funding everything on the behalf of the taxpayers, whether that was towards Ukraine or whether that was towards Canada and all its allies, for whatever reason, felt more like a money laundering service than ever before. So these past 10 days, or I should say these past 12 days or 13 days, you had a new administration coming in, promises to cut down budget and spending and where their money is being leaked and gashed out from, and promises to make it easier on the taxpayers, you, the American people, assuming you're American. So the first thing they look at is, why the fuck are we paying Canada $200 billion? I mean, what necessarily do they do for us? And it's the same way, like it's like when a new CEO comes in. I don't know if you guys ever watched a show like Succession, or anything of the sort that shows you like pretty much how a board or how a new administration comes in and how they cut the fat. They'll come into a company like you've seen with Elon Musk. He'll come into a company like Twitter. He'll take it private. He'll come in and look and be like, why are we paying 50,000 employees that essentially do nothing? These 100 employees can do the job of 50,000. Why do we need to spend it all on that? You're all fired. So you have, Trump coming in right now. You have him looking at, what they're paying and to who they're paying to and why they're paying it. And they go, well, this is not necessary. They don't even help us. They don't even do this for us. They don't even, they don't even follow basic instructions. They're cut off. And they're cut off until further notice, until we get an equal amount back for what we're spending. So the whole tariff war between Canada and USA is, US goes, hey, I want you to secure your border. I want you to stop bringing in, or I want you to stop making it so easy for criminals to pass fentanyl through my border. At the same time, I see no reason to be paying you $200 billion. You do nothing for us. Everything you provide, we can get for ourselves, and we find it a useless tax, and we have no idea why it's happening in the first place. Right? So this is the main reason for starting it. The same thing goes to Mexico. I see nothing that you could provide us that we can't provide ourselves. At the same time, we're paying you a shit ton of money. I don't know what for. We'll get to that later. But at the very least, you're taking back your criminals, and you're not allowing these people to pass through our borders with fentanyl, which is killing my American people. So naturally, it's a very, very fair. It's a very, very fair request to make. I mean, you're subsidizing both these nations. At the very least, they could play ball with your requests. Does that make sense for everybody? That's the whole birthing. That's the whole starting thing of why this happened in the first place. And hold on, let me just double check here before we continue. Dave Fibonacci. Who's Brian Rommel? If I click on this and it's a guy with a watch and a Rolex, I'm gonna freak out. I'm telling you right now. Okay. All right. I don't know what this is, but we'll get to that in a second. Very big in AI. Okay. Old school punk actor. Okay, so he's like one of those like 1990s hackers. Okay. President Trump's AI and crypto czar David Sachs will hold a press conference on February 4th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time to outline the administration's plan for U.S. leadership in digital assets. Give it time; it's coming. I'm bullish on this administration doing the right thing for crypto and digital assets altogether. And we're not just talking about cryptocurrency coins, guys. We're talking about like real use cases for blockchain, right? Either through voting, air travel, etc. There's a bunch of things that could be done with this. Coinbase secures UK license to expand crypto services. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Is it too long? Didn't read that this market instability is because of the tariff drama. It was an overreaction to the tariff drama. But as you can see, this overreaction was a catalyst to force liquidations, right? So a lot of the times crypto overreacts because once again, there are a lot of people that you can hunt during these moments when a market is on low volume, and low volume comes from the weekend, mixed with a really, really spooky headline where you'll take a look at regular TradFi and you'll be like, oh, this is a negative look on the market. It's the perfect storm, right? To start triggering forced sellers, which triggers more forced sellers, which triggers more forced sellers until we run out of people to run after, right? So these tariffs, like I said, like I just discussed, how it came to be is based on the U.S. demands, and now you have Canada and Mexico saying, well, we're not going to play ball with you. In fact, we'll post our own tariffs. That's what they said, right? Instead of going, USA, you're a number one ally. You protect us in military aid. You subsidize our country. You help fund us in our operations. In return, we're very, very good trade partners with you. Instead, no, we have some lunatic, or I want to say an incompetent lunatic that goes, you know what? This is unacceptable. The USA will not be allowed to bully us. Despite having no military and no anything, we're going to impose taxes and tariffs of our own. This is escalation. This is not what you want to see. You want to see someone go, oh, I understand your concerns. Maybe there's stuff we can do for you, and let's try to work together. Let's try to cooperate. Let's not bring the people involved. Let's not have them pay more. Let's not disrupt our economies. Let's work together. What do you really want from me, and what is realistic for me to help you with? Instead, you got the complete opposite. You got Mr. Trudeau, who's been a coward of a leader, truly incompetent. Instead, try to fan the flames. Instead of trying to put the fire out, tries to fan the flames with no bigger than the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest trade partner you could ever have, with the shortest distance between the two, which is, again, if you're on the side of business, if you're on the side of politics, it makes realistically no sense to fan the flames with a military like the USA, an economy like the USA, right? And its people. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And anybody supporting this, in my opinion, understands nothing about the real world. They understand nothing. It's all optics. It's all to appear tough when there is no merit to the tough words. It's like you ever see those two guys in a school hallway that pretend they're trying to get to each other, but it's just two people holding them back? And if they were so angry at each other, they would just kind of like just push through everybody and start fighting. It's like this. It's like that guy that pretends is being held back. It's like, oh, let me at him. But really, he's not going to do anything. It's one of these situations, right? Where look, Canada is bankrupt. It's got no wiggle room to play economic wars with its biggest trade partner. This is what people don't understand, right? We're a bankrupt nation. Yeah, sure, we have a bunch of resources. We misuse them. We misallocate them. It's nothing that the US can't get themselves. We don't have anything proprietary. Maybe the only thing we have proprietary is maybe water. But that's really where we stand. We have a guy north of the border that's trying to play this tough guy attitude, but there is no, the only people that suffer are the people that put him into power, the people he promised to represent. right? So it's foolish. It's foolish. It's stupid. It's useless. It's pointless escalation, and it ends in tears. It ends in tears for mostly Canada and Mexico. They got nothing. They got nothing to combat this. The Trump shit is a bluff. Trump doesn't want to have the neighbors against the U.S. Too dangerous. You and what army? Like again, like do you remember who you're talking to? Do you remember what nation you were talking to? As a Canadian citizen, do we need to remember who we are talking to? It's that simple. Again, it's basic understanding of economics and first and foremost, when it comes to influence around the world, it's just it's the most pointless escalation I've ever seen because they're yeah, Canada's oil and lumber, that's great. So does the US. Elsis, usually what you see, um, again, it seems like the market has overreacted. It ran who it needed to run. Just taking a look at these liquidation numbers, I'll find it very, very, very hard to go back and push these people. But at the same time, kind of looks like a Dali, man. Like I don't know. I think yesterday was a bit of an overreaction. Given today's market understanding, like today's market reaction on the open seems kind of exaggerated. But again, you're so early in the morning. Yeah, there you go, crypto AI. It's just facts. It's just facts. Like put all the Trump propaganda aside and just look at the facts here. We can't tango. We can't tango. You're gonna hurt Canadian citizens more than you ever would just abiding by very, very simple requests from the United States. China will be the winner out of this. They're bankrupt too. So, to my understanding, Trump wants from us to secure our border, stop fentanyl from pouring in from the north. We shouldn't have to worry about this, and stop your illegal immigrants that are pouring in from other countries and using the north border to break into the U.S. because we already have enough issues on the south. And Canada, as an ally, a true ally, would say absolutely no problem. We'll do everything we can to help you. Instead, they go, you know what? Maybe I won't. Instead, you know what? I'm going to impose tariffs on things you guys require the most. Does that sound like an ally? Does that sound like an ally to you? And it's just very simple. When you look at it from with a clear head and not from what you think of a certain person or a certain political partner, the requests are fairly easy to enforce and nobody has to get hurt. But you see, Salman, that's not what he's asking. Again, we pay you. We pay you, Canada, $200 billion. We provide military protection. Can you please do this for us? And they go, no. Actually, I don't think I will. It's an alliance, my friend. It's not a two-way street. It's not USA doing everything and everything and everything and getting nothing out of it. So now, like I told you, you have a guy that comes in, he goes, why are we spending all this money for people that don't give a fuck about us? And now he's the bad guy. You get how that works? You see how the optics play a role? You see how propaganda turns the situation into something completely different? Yeah, he's made it very clear. Secure the fentanyl coming in from the north of our border. Stop your illegal immigrants that are coming from other countries using Canada as a way to get in to North America and then using it to jump our borders. He made it very clear. Very clear. He's punishing China for the production of fentanyl. He's punishing Canada and Mexico for allowing it to get into the country via illegal immigrants. It's that simple. It's that simple. That's why all three of them are involved in tariffs right now. And look at that, guys. We're almost green on the day. Range low, baby. Love to see it. And again, like, we're watching the markets here. We're just watching it unfold. I mean, I have everything I need to look at. I have a range low tap. I'm good with that. Yeah, the bounce back is wild. Like we said at the start of the open, it just seems like an over exaggeration based on how we opened this morning. It just doesn't seem like it's almost like you already know the talks at 3 p.m. are going to be like, oh, I didn't know you meant us secure the border. I thought you meant you wanted us to secure the whole world. Oh, my bad, Mr. Trump. Okay, we'll do that right away. Like I could already see this conversation happening at 3 o'clock. But yeah, you don't have to like me for saying what I said. It's just facts. It's just facts. Again, if you find yourself being very, very emotionally tied to the tariff war, it's because you're not looking at it clearly. Just look at it clearly. I know Canada, and I'm Canadian, right? So I could speak on behalf of my own country. I know Canada wants to think they're this big player in the world. They're not. They're not. Not without its big brother. But right now, you're tattletaling on your big brother to the principal, and you have no more protection. That's what it is. It's just you got to work with your best allies. You can't become enemies of your best allies. That's not how it works. Yeah, Canadian government claims there is an offense. This is the same government that's lied to me about I don't know how much in the past 4 years. I don't know how much. This is the same government that tried to have me have a passport for medical status. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Yeah, if Canada was in Europe, nobody would even know it's a country. It's. I don't want to be enemies to the United States. I don't think anybody in the world does. It's not. It doesn't really end well, does it? You know what? Arthur Hayes thinks outside the box, and I respect him tremendously for that. Because if it was about getting Powell to kind of like bend the knee, I think that's an excellent way of doing it. When are we making him president? Do you even think we're going to have an election? You have to understand what administration is in place now. A guy that promised you he would resign 3 weeks ago is now talking tough in front of a camera. It makes you wonder, right? Is there ever going to be an election? If we actually had a democratic country, we'd have a snap election by now, but we don't. Yeah, exactly. We all thought Trudeau was out, right? And here he is talking big in front of a camera. So again, like guys, like know what you're up against. You're up against incompetent leaders. He also called it to bring BDC to 70K and then 250K later in the year. Bringing it to 70K is going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough. But I understand where Hayes is coming from because if I draw down from the highest price point we've ever had down to the 30% area, wouldn't you know, 73K. He's not crazy for assuming so, guys. He's not. He's not crazy for assuming a 30% correction on BDC. Every time BDC makes new highs, you can always expect a 30% correction somewhere down the line. I don't think we get it, but I can understand why he's thinking that. Needless to say, he was right about a lot of them. But 70K BDC, that's tough. That's tough work, my friend. I don't know if that's happening. But then again, from this range, the final drawdown was 34%. So it's not too crazy to assume. If we are really just playing the range that we saw here, it could look very similar to this, guys. Yeah, you see, he bought a lot, but look what happened to Ethereum. Look what happened to Aave. Look what happened to all of his projects, right? But again, you can't really kick out people that are not in leverage positions, right? If they're just buying a spot wallet, you're never going to be able to kick them out of their position. Well, it's not really facts, it's your subjective opinions and speculations. Only empirical data matters, similar to looking at TA with charts. So history would do the data. In 2018, your data set up Trump for blah, 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 did not end in one day. Therefore, your speculation on Trudeau and Trump called this afternoon. Yeah, that part is a speculation. I made that entirely clear. But everything else I spoke of was entirely facts, my friend. You took that one little thing I mentioned as a speculation and you disregarded all of it and said, like, I don't know, man. Read the room. Yes, it's been for almost 10 years. Last cycle it tapped previous high before moving up, hitting 70K should be the same catalyst. Yeah, stands alone. I totally agree with you. Excuse me. I don't think 70K is crazy. I don't. It would be a 30% drawdown, which is very, very typical for BDC. After it makes new highs, 30% is typically the drawdown territory. It just seems very, very difficult to get to at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised. It always is. But so far we've had a really good market reaction, guys. I can't hate too much. I mean, the VIX is cranking, so keep an eye on this. This is pretty terrifying. The VIX is cranking, so this is the volatility index for those of you who do not know. But it's much better than we thought we would get for sure. Way better, like way better. The way we traded last night, you would assume the end of the world or another like black swan was on its way. How's ETH doing? Yeah, you see that wick? That wick is just looks untouchable. This seemed like who they were hunting. They were hunting someone here. This is sub 3K, right? Oh my god, no, not even. Sub 3K is right here. They didn't take the low? I think they got the low, didn't they? Right here, no? They got the low. They tagged it. Yeah, they took the low for sure. They hunted whoever the fuck they were after here. There's no doubt about it. They got him. I am a worried father. I am a worried father. I feel bad for the ETH bros, but they will have redemption. I promise you they will. Right now, they're going through the Stark arc, you know? Like right now, it's like Rob Stark, Ed Stark. Everybody's getting destroyed here, but they will have a redemption. They will. I mean, look at this wick. Look at this wick. This is indicative. Like they hunted whoever had to be hunted here. I think the downside is, and I'm not saying this can't just bleed out like this and then back up. Like I'm telling you, it's just this is it. This I don't see it lower than this. I'm being honest with you. I don't. That's got to be it. Was it that guy who lost 25 million? Based on the data, apparently it's even worse. Yeah, 10 bill in liquidations is no joke, guys. No joke. But yeah, they liquidated whoever they were trying to get here. Last alt season didn't start until BDC went parabolic. That's my belief. They can't liquidate Sailor. They can't. He'll just use his shares to buy back more and more and more and more. Yeah, largest liquidation was on BDC, right? 38.8 right here. On HTX, right? This is an Asian exchange, right? Am I crazy? Fed cut in March trigger alt market. No, BDC going into new highs would trigger an alt market. Like, I don't know how many times I have to explain this. One day Michael Strat will explode. The strat can't be good forever, surely. I mean, it is when you're buying a scarce asset. My Doge position, I had taken profit. Let me go check again. I've taken profit at an ideal resistance area, and the rest obviously stopped out on. But we've been holding this trade for I don't know how long. Took profit here, didn't take profit any other time, and that's that. Needless to say, this should have performed so much better, but I got stubborn, right? I got stubborn. I really did think, yeah, no money lost there, but still, you expect more on a demand block like this. Oh man, no, did I miss this? I missed it. I suck. This all happened so fast. I didn't even set alerts for this. Yeah, everything's looking kind of okay. I mean, don't forget ETH is still down 7% on the day. It's more BDC that's looking great here. If I'm being honest with you, BDC looks the best right now. Yeah, don't fade Kramer. Don't fade him. Don't fade him. Kramer is the inverse signal of everything, man. Listen, I don't know how many more people need to call alt season. Like I don't know how many more I need to see. I have my beliefs. You have your beliefs. You're not seeing you are not seeing an alt season before BDC blow off tops, and that could be somewhere towards 200, 250k, maybe even 300. Sounds crazy. I know it does, but you'll see what I'm talking about. There's no need to call an alt season before that. Yeah, Mario. Look at that range. Look at that range low touch, boys. There's no way. There's no way. You would settle for 150, 175? Ah, it's kind of a lackluster bull market, if I would say so myself. The real obstacle is 110k. Anywhere between 70 to 110k was always going to be problematic. After that, you guys have no idea how fast it'll go. Like yeah, I DCA no matter what day it is, same time, same place, doesn't matter the price. I DCA every single day, the same amount. I've been doing that for over 8 years now, and I will never stop. Yeah, we're green on BDC. Go figure that one out, huh? Never forget what the strongest asset in this market is. Never, 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 never. I buy it every single day. I will never stop buying. I can't believe we're almost back at 100k. That's wild. But this is where we expect the problems to arise, right here. We are right here, boys. Pivot 200 EMA. My God. Look at this. Oh boy. When's the last time I saw negative funding across the board like this, man? Oh boy, oh boy. These are the markets you live and die for, my friends. Not this 5% up, 5% down. We're talking like fucking 30% down followed by green on the same day. This is the market I fell in love with. I don't know about you guys, but this is the market I fell in love with. This is why we moved away from Forex, from TradFis, because you were given these sort of plays. Like you were given these sort of moves in a single 24-hour period. Shine Bomb? Who's that? Who the fuck is Shine Bomb? Mexican President Shine Bomb? Oh, look, look. Hey, hey, who was telling me I was just speculating? Who was telling me I was just speculating again? Are you still in here or did you run away? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Oh, you meant our border. Oh, right, right, right. No problem, Mr. Trump. We'll do that right away. These people are talking out of their ass. They're trying to act tough for no reason. What did I call? What did I call? I literally called it in here. I literally did. I knew it was gonna go down like that. I knew it. No, not you, Salman. Of course not. It was some dude I think I spoke to for the first time in here. He was like, "No, technically, you're just speculating. The 2018 tariff war lasted so much longer than this. It's like you don't understand the administration that exists right now. Like you need to read the room, bro. Do you really think the U.S. is doing what they're doing because they're weak? They are in a position of strength and they know it. That's why they're doing what they're doing against three different nations all at once. That's why Colombia folded like a lawn chair in half an hour. And it's why they also added the use of their presidential plane to make up for it. Like do not underestimate the influence the USA has. Canada will be the same. Is it Trudeau's gonna be like, oh, you meant our border? Oh, my bad. I thought you meant we had to, build you a utopia. My bad, Mr. President. I didn't know that's what you meant. Everybody wants to talk tough. Everybody wants to talk tough. It's the USA, man. I'm not roasting anybody. It's just like you just for these type of situations you need to be able to think ahead, not just what the headline is telling you. It's not 2018 anymore. It's 2025. This administration is entirely focused on cutting off useless spending. So again, if they're telling you that this country is taking almost $250 billion from us every year and they're not even doing the most basic things, you need to assume they're for real. And when you look at Canada's economy, you look at Canada's disapproval ratings in the elections, like what merit do they have? Desync bounced more than 70%. What are you talking about? Ooh. Ooh. Oh my god, look how down it is still though. I'm like, tap out knack, bro. Like, what is this? This is just crazy. Huh. Look, strong technical bounces across the board here, but like just pay attention over here. This is the most important part of the day, guys. Needless to say, you got a relief bounce. You pretty much engulfed all the selling of last night. So that's a good sign. It's a good sign. Nah, Z, we have a few Montrealers in here, if I'm not mistaken. We should have a few Montrealers in here, Quebecers, I should say. You see, we got people saying Carlis. There's actually quite a few. strong Dales over here, guys. This is a so far seems like an overreaction. Let's see how the regular markets responded to Scheinbaum being like, "Oh, we didn't mean that. We didn't mean that. We'll help you, Mr. President." Could this relief just be a bearish retest? Still doubting if I should take profits fast. Mudug, this is the sort of technical bounce you get after such a large liquidation. So a lot of forced sell orders, right? So what happens when a price gets liquidated, right? I have a buy position, right? My liquidation, let's say my buy position's at $1, right? My liquidation is at 60 cents. When price hits 60 cents, my buy order turns into a what? If I'm forced to close out a buy order, what does that do? What do you mean no idea? Guys, it becomes a sell order at market, right? Because the exchange can no longer hold your position for you, so it needs to offload, right? The way your account works, right, is it's an inverse portfolio, right? So whatever your funds you have in your account or whatever margin you have isolated to the position is what it'll hold for you before it's forced to sell off. So if I have a $1 buy order, right? Let's say my buys are at $1, my liquidation's at 60 cents. Price goes to 60 cents, right? The exchange can no longer hold my position. This is a buy order. So when you're exiting a buy order, what do? You sell. So if we hit $10 billion of liquidations, right? And most of them were longs. Technically, the lower we go in price, the more selling occurs. So when you ask me about this relief and why it's a technical bounce, why it's a technical relief, it's because so much selling happened at prices that were considered so dramatically off, right? Because so many liquidations. So liquidations, a forced liquidation, right? Let's say someone got liquidated at 80 cents, or like millions of dollars got liquidated at 80 cents. Those sells bring price lower into liquidations at 70 cents. Those liquidations get hit. Those trigger price sells and liquidations at 60 cents. And it continues until it runs out of steam. It becomes a contagion domino effect. So eventually that subsides and you get a sharp technical bounce. But now we're at a point, right, in this entire, oh my God, I'm going over my thing. Sorry, I'm going to have to get off here. Now we're at a point where you've had your technical bounce. Like you've had your technical bounce. This is the point of decision. Do we reclaim this trend? Because it's the first time we touched the 200 EMA since falling below it. Do we just reject from here? Because this is where it's, I would say it's reached its potential, right? But now the real determination here is the trend shift here. This is the part that's going to be most important. But that's how liquidations work, right? So when you're doing a short squeeze, what happens, right? You have people that promise to sell, right? And they're to exit a position, they need to what? Buy back. So when you're in a short squeeze, right? Price continues to climb and mount at alarming rates, right? Because guess what's happening? Shorts are getting liquidated. And when they're getting liquidated, they're forced to what? Buy back at a higher price. So those buys trigger more buys and sends price higher and higher and higher until it triggers more and more liquidations to the sell side, right? Because shorts are just promises to buy back. And borrowed buys are just promises to sell at a later price. So the dynamic is to push price in that direction, right? And that's why liquidations are so important, because it forces sells in otherwise positions that you otherwise wouldn't want to be selling at. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope that makes sense to you guys. And with that, I think I have to end this off here because I know there's a few other people that need to be streaming today. But so far, so good, guys. How do I feel about Trump mentioning Canada become the 51st state? Please, I welcome it with open arms. But with that being said, guys, we just had like an hour and 20-minute stream here. I don't want to go over Pocky and everybody's schedule here. It's a busy day, and I want to make sure everybody has their chance to talk. Guys, pretty big turnout. Wasn't expecting that. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hopefully, you guys, got to get some questions in. You got some clarity on what's happening, and me and DB will be talking about this on Wednesday. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna have a lot to talk about, and hopefully some stuff is resolved. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me on my Monday stream. No workshop today, but we had a nice Q&A and analysis of what happened today. So with that being said, I leave the stage to whoever's next, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. All right, guys, take care.